Nigerian Pastor Paul Enenche, the head pastor of Dunamis Church, Abuja, Nigeria, arrested his brother, two of his brothers, and one other ex-pastor who said he worked under Pastor Paul Enenche for 10 years. Okay. Just after that, we heard that Pastor Paul Enenche also obtained a remand order launched to search for RENO OMEKRI over alleged defamation of Dunamis Church Pastor Paul Enenche. The Nigerian police force has secured an order from the Chief Magistrate Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Wuse Zone 6, Abuja, to remand a social media influencer, Mr. RENO OMEKRI, in prison custody along with a former Dunamis Church pastor, Abraham Daniel, along with two others, Mr. Enenche and Alexander Enenche. So they are Pastor Enenche's immediate brothers, like his real brothers, not long distance relations. Therefore, the police are looking for RENO OMEKRI, who was special assistant to the then President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan on new media, for them to remand him in prison like Pastor Abraham Daniel and Enenche's brothers. The court presided over by His Worship Chief Emmanuel A. Iana issued the remand warrant through an ex parte motion filed by the Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun on January 13, 2025, granting the ex parte application filed by Francis Gabriel Esquire on behalf of the police chief in motion number ME/07/2025 between Inspector General of Police as applicant and Mr. Daniel Abraham, Mr. Enenche Idoga, Alexander Obianlo Enenche Peter, and Mr. RENO OMEKRI as first to fourth respondents. The Chief Magistrate directed the police to produce the respondents on return court date, which is going to be January 30th. Iana held, upon hearing the application and submission of learned Francis Gabriel Esquire, and upon careful consideration of the averment, the annexures and issues us raise the submission of the applicant. The applicant is hereby granted as prayed. It is hereby offered as following: an order of the Honorable Court for remand warrant of the respondents, Mr. Daniel Abraham, Mr. Enenche Idoga, Alexander Oboilio Enenche Peter, and Mr. RENO OMEKRI in the custody of the Nigerian Correctional Services pending investigation. This is a serious matter. You know, one thing about the Nigerian judiciary, you see the magistrate courts, even though it looks like a court of lower jurisdiction, like when they talk about hierarchy, it is one of the lowest courts. So people don't know how powerful that court is. You see magistrate court, it's better for someone to take you to high court. You know that, okay, in the high court, at least they will they will be adjourned. You see magistrate court, I feel because they don't used to have cases. Once they go there with a case, bang bang bang, you have gone to prison, like play like joke. So RENO OMEKRI, you have been addressed. I wasn't even wearing my glasses while reading. You have been addressed as a social media influencer, not even that you're a special advisor, not even like you're a politician, which means your name has been erased from the book of politicians in Nigeria. After RENO, you see, I don't know why we are taking RENO seriously. A man who could speak ill about Tinubu, and then all of a sudden he came to see Tinubu dressed like wearing his Christmas clothes, his best clothes, to go and see Tinubu. Oh God, I'm not even surprised. What about this man, Barrister Bala? What did he do? Is it Bawa? Sorry. What did he do? After he said, if you like, give Tinubu 30 years, he cannot perform. Now he's in Tinubu's cabinet. How, if hypocrisy was a person, it should be that man. If hypocrisy was a person, it should be that man. But it's okay, no problem. We move. We move on. So people have said, why would Dr. Paul Enenche take someone to court? Not even court. He will remand them in prison custody. That's not Christian. Hey, please let me understand something. The first people came out, they talked about Pastor Paul Enenche and he didn't say anything. The second people came out, they spoke about Pastor Paul Enenche and he didn't say anything. The third people came out and spoke about Pastor Paul Enenche and he didn't still say anything. What exactly do you think he should do? Because tomorrow, if he doesn't take decisions now and and hold them responsible for what they have done, do you know that tomorrow another person will come out with another story? This time now, they might even say that Pastor Paul and Enche tried to do something, take advantage of their daughters, and they did not agree. It might get to that point. It might get to that point. And you see all this, no matter what Pastor Paul and Enche does, they talk about it and he sees it as normal. But when you now come out to say you have evidence of serious allegations, then you go and be telling the court about the evidence you have about him and whatever it is, how he's doing fake miracles. So you mean that somebody will be doing fake miracles and then he will not be praying for other people on television and they'll be getting their healing? So I don't understand. I'll only understand if he doesn't have a television network and people are not getting their healing while just watching either on phone or on TV. The main aim is that people get saved. The main aim is that people get their healing. So why are you trying to scrutinize? And I think some podcasters need to also hold on and stop that rubbish. They've caught someone, hey, what about it? When they hear someone trending, they will invite the person to come and do podcasts with them. And what about, okay, they'll be discussing, asking you questions. What about your former church? How is your pastor? How is the relationship you had with him? How is that supposed to even be your business? Podcasters, you guys it's high time you began to censor most of the things you say or what you bring to your podcast, because once your podcast loses credibility, it will be difficult for people to come back to watch you. No matter how authentic your shows are, it will be difficult for you, So it's better Pastor Paul and Nature did this thing, because they say, in the Bible, you're not supposed to take someone to court. But is it okay for someone to constantly call you out and lie against you? Because it's almost like in this country now, we have sat back and agreed to everything. So even if it gets to a point where somebody comes and slaps us as Christians, we should just tell him, keep slapping. As far as we are Christians, we'll take it. No, that's not what the Bible says. That's not exactly what the Bible says. I feel that we misunderstand the Bible to make it suit our narrative. Always on a daily basis we do that. If the Bible says we should not steal, it means we should not steal. And stealing means you have to define it to mean what you want. Stealing means picking something that you are not given or you didn't ask of. So at the end of the day, we have understood that these people know that in the Holy Bible they said, Christians should not do this, So so some people now take that as yardstick to begin to look for people's trouble. You call that Pastor Paul Enenche unprovoked severally. And now he decides to take action and people are still saying he's a pastor. He's not behaving like a pastor. He's not supposed to sue. He's not supposed to call anybody to arrest the man. Okay, so Pastor Enenche should continue sitting down and receiving all the blames, receiving all the pain, receiving everything they are throwing at him. Is that what you're saying? That would be very unfair. That would be very unfair, because even as we speak, he's a human being. Blood flows through his veins. So he has to react. And he did not go abusing them on social media. He only used the law to get them arrested for defamation and all of those good stuff. So Dr. Paul Enenche is a true pastor, is a true man of God. I'm not saying that because I'm in his church. Because we know that when we see the truth and we don't speak, the day a lie will befall us, we will be looking for people to speak on our behalf. So we must always see a spade and call it a spade, not the other way around.